Boolean search strings. You probably know Boolean search, it's not that difficult at the end of the day. There are just three operators, right? And, or, not, plus parentheses, plus quotes. So it's not that difficult. But the hard part is, what do you put in the search bar? What do you enter in those brackets or those quotes, right? So what kind of keywords? And that's the hard part. So that's why I have created this mind map that can highlight some of these typical positions for you and what would you enter in the search. So for example, when you're looking for a web developer or backend or front-end developer, what to put to the title, what to put to those keywords or skills. So let's kick it off. Let's do it. This is a very practical mind map because you will be able to just copy and paste some of these search strings and use them in your own search on LinkedIn or elsewhere in some other database. So let me just show you how it works. So when you are looking, for example, for a front-end developer or a back-end developer, let's start with the front-end developer. That will be probably easiest. So when we look for a front-end developer, as you've seen in those previous mind maps, we need to focus on the programming language, which is JavaScript. And with front-end, it's really easy because there is just one programming language. There could be TypeScript as well, but that's just an extension of JavaScript. So let's keep it simple for now and let's focus only on JavaScript. There is usually one of these frameworks that companies would use. It's either React or Angular or Vue.js. So you need to choose one of these three that would be used. I mean, you would not choose it, but the hiring manager would tell you, hey, Michael, we use Angular or we use React or we use Vue.js. And then you would need to look for people who have experience with that particular framework. Also, you would look at developers who have experience with some more advanced tools, for example, Sass or Less or Next.js. So these are the first two are the CSS preprocessors, and Next.js is additional library built on top of React. And yeah, I mentioned some of these on the web development landscape. It's one of the mind maps, because I cannot find it really quick now, but one of the mind maps that explains the web development landscape. So on the left hand side, there are some of these more advanced technologies such as Sass, Less, some of the other testing frameworks, for example. So you can take these keywords and use them to search for these developers. So then we see that the search string would include, for example, this title, front-end developer. Okay, so the title is very straightforward. You can have different variations of the title, front-end developer or front-end engineer. You can combine front-end and React in the title. Okay, so, oh, wow, that's huge. Again, front-end and React. This, especially if you would use this in the title, would give you the best results with people who have in the title written front-end React developer, engineer, team lead. So this is certainly a good starting point. And then you can expand it even further with front-end and React or React.js, because we know that some developers write on their profiles React, while others write React.js. I was mentioning it on one of the previous mind maps in a previous video, where I mentioned that, you know, it's really hard sometimes because developers use all these synonyms, but you don't have to recreate it from scratch. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I have created this course inside the Tech Recruitment Academy, where you can just copy and paste some of these keywords. So just go to the Tech Recruitment Academy, the member section, and open up the Sourcing IT Candidates on LinkedIn module, and you will find all these inside. Okay, So coming back to the mind map, you can start with front-end and React or React.js, and then you can continue further. You can expand it to front-end or JavaScript and React or Vue or Angular. If you are okay with interviewing people who have at least some of these skills, I mean, they know at least React or Vue or Angular. But this really depends on the hiring manager's preferences. If they require someone who only uses Angular, well then only focus on Angular. But there are hiring managers who say, hey Michael, we just need someone strong with JavaScript and front end, and we don't really care if they have experience with React or Angular. We can take them on board and then they will learn it on the go. So that's why this part needs to be checked with the hiring manager. Okay, so this is how you could approach the search on LinkedIn with some of these simple Boolean search strings. And inside the course, you would go even deeper in exploring different combinations on what to put to the keyword section, what to put to the title section, what skills to list in LinkedIn Recruiter Lite. So there we go deeper in terms of analyzing these common IT roles. I'm just now outlining how you can connect what we've discussed also in the previous videos and apply it in practice based on the programming languages, based on the framework, based on some other tools. You can also include those other tools here, like front-end and React or React.js and SAS or less. Okay, so that could be another addition to this particular search string. So that was front-end. That was easy. What about backend? Well, with backend, it's not hard as well. You just follow the same style. So think about the must-have skills. It is the programming language. So, for example, PHP. It could be C#, Java, JavaScript. But if you are looking for a PHP full-stack developer, PHP backend developer, then only focus on PHP, right? And then the developer would also be working with some framework. So the framework could be, as you've seen on the previous mind map, Laravel, Zend, not Vue.js, but Laravel, Zend, Netty, for example, or Symfony. So let's choose Laravel as an example. The backend developer may also need to have experience with some of the public clouds. So it could be Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure or Alibaba Cloud, SAP Cloud, Oracle Cloud. So you just choose the one that the client uses or the company you are recruiting for. And you can use that particular keyword in your search string. So let's kick it off with the first version. You just put to the title PHP and Laravel. And you would get developers who in the title write PHP Laravel engineer or PHP Laravel developer, PHP Laravel tech lead. This is the best group of developers to start with. And then if the hiring manager said, for example, you know what, Michael, we use Laravel, but if you get some Symfony developer, so some PHP developer who uses Symfony, then we are keen to interview that person as well because he or she can learn it really quickly on the job. So in that case, you would write Laravel or Symfony and PHP, of course. Okay, so I hope this is clear, but you need to first know from the hiring manager if they are keen to interview people who don't know that particular framework but are strong in the other framework. And then the fun starts because you can also include the public cloud. But what if the hiring manager says, you know what, Michael, we are actually fine if the person knows some other public cloud. It doesn't necessarily need to be Amazon Web Services. So in that case, you would create this string that includes PHP and Laravel or Symfony and AWS or GCP or Azure. So Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform, or Azure. And then you can go even further because you are looking for someone who has experience with DevOps, with some modern CI/CD pipelines. So you would include the key terms CI/CD or CI/CD. And then the whole string would be PHP and Laravel or Symfony and AWS or GCP or Azure and CI or CD. Okay, so not any rocket science. You just need to follow the thought process and the programming language, skill, the cloud, the additional tools they use in the company, and you compose a string. You can also then divide some of these keywords, some of them to be in the title, and other keywords in the keywords section or skills. So there is a lot you can play with, and that's also coming back to what I mentioned just a while ago. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just go to this section that we have in the members area, the module sourcing IT candidates on LinkedIn, and you can learn how to search and find the right IT professionals on LinkedIn using complex Boolean search strings. And there is also another module which could be of your interest. It is called Sourcing Tactics Webinar Replays. Every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central European Time, I organize a webinar for our colleagues, for recruitment associates, for our academy members. And every week we look at one real-world job requirement from our clients, and I analyze it, I interpret it for our colleagues and associates, and you can learn from this. You can learn how to find the right IT professional just based on the particular webinar. So inside this module, you can find replays from all past webinars. There are 30 plus as of recording this video. So maybe by the time you join this module, there will be 40, 50, 60. And you can just choose the one that is of your interest. For example, one of the recent one was front-end Next.js developer, or a system administrator, or chief technology officer with fintech emerging markets experience, right? Like some of these are very specific. Some of them are more common, like a backend Node.js developer or a full stack JavaScript developer. So you will find all these replays and how can I find these professionals based on different combinations of Boolean search operators and keywords. So I totally encourage you to go there and watch some of those replays. So this was front-end and back-end, but now the fun starts with full stack developers. Okay, so we have it right here. So what will happen if you need to look for a full stack developer? Well, first you need to understand and realize that full stack literally means backend plus front-end at the same time. So the full stack developer would need to do both at the same time. So that's why you need to find people who have the front-end experience and backend experience. But it also depends on the hiring manager's preferences and the code base they have established. What programming languages have they established the code base in? What programming language do the colleagues already use? We need to find a developer who will just seamlessly plug in. So that's why we need to look for front-end developers who either know JavaScript or TypeScript. As I mentioned in the previous videos, TypeScript is an extension of JavaScript. So we can sort of focus on JavaScript only and look for people who can use either React or Vue or Ember or Angular. Okay, so you need to look for people who are full stack developers, which means front end plus backend. On the front end is JavaScript, TypeScript, React, Ember, Angular. And on the back end, some of these skills like Java, Python, C#, PHP, Ruby, JavaScript, not all of them, but some of these languages. I'll change the color so it stands out a little. Okay, so this, one of these. And it depends on what do they already use in the company. So you need to ask, obviously, or you would see it on the job requirement. They would say, for example, you know what, Michael, we use PHP, so we need the full stack PHP developer. So in that case, you would be looking for someone who uses PHP with Laravel and Symfony. Or if someone needs to use Python, then you would be looking for Python with Django or Flask, one of these two. Or if Java, then Spring or Hibernate. Okay, so you get the point now, okay? So the hardest part now is to combine it all. So we know what are the must-have skills. On the front end, it is the JavaScript with front-end framework React. On the back end, it would be, for example, C# with framework .NET Core. Okay, this would be the must-have requirement. Say a hiring manager comes and says, hey, Michael, can you please send me the best C# .NET Core developers who can also do or create front end with React. Okay, so that would be the requirement, high level. And the hiring manager just mentioned some of these keywords, right? So this is the requirement for you, plus some of these cloud and DevOps tools, probably Azure, Docker, Kubernetes, RabbitMQ, just to name a few, okay, for a full stack developer. So then you would create the search string that would include the programming language on the backend, which is C#, .NET, because you are not looking for C# mobile developers. So that's why we want to only focus on those who use .NET, plus those who have the front-end experience. So you either list React or React.js as here, or you can use React or Angular. Well, I cannot draw a straight line. React or Angular, or you can go after people who use React or Angular or Vue.js. So it all depends on the requirement of your client. If they are keen to interview people who have also experience with some other framework, not just the one they use currently. And it all depends on the stage of the company, the size, the existing team, the urgency, the ability to onboard them properly. So if there is enough time, then the hiring manager could be more likely to just train the person on site. If they don't have time, well, then they need someone who is ready to go and hit the ground running. So you can take this search and start with it. You can also split some of these keywords to be included in the title, for example, C# and .NET, and some of the other could be skills, for example, React or React.js could be the skill. Also the DevOps tools, Azure, Docker, Kubernetes could be some of the skills. Okay, so with this mind map, I just wanted to show you how to think about these three really common IT roles: front-end developer, back-end developer, and the full-stack developer. So you know how to include the right keywords in your Boolean search. And don't forget, if you need to dive deeper, we have a lot of content inside the members area, so you can enroll in one of those modules and just use it as a library. So next time you are looking for a cloud engineer, well, then open up that particular module and learn how would I source a cloud engineer based on what keywords, what title, what would be the ideal career path, what additional keywords would I use. So it's all there, so use it or leave it, but it will certainly help you get the results faster. So why would you leave it if you can use it, right? So anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget, there are a few more mind maps to go, so keep watching, keep learning, and yeah, see you there. If you have any questions, let me know in comments. And if you would like to find more IT candidates and talk to them with confidence, then the whole booklet with over 40 mind maps can be useful for you, especially if you are transitioning from non-tech field to IT, because this booklet includes 40 mind maps that cover the whole IT landscape. We start on a high level with IT roles, and then we dive deeper to web development, mobile, desktop development, and then even deeper. So for example, software web development with JavaScript. So there is a mind map, for example, that covers data and data related roles, and even developer personas, so you get to understand developers a little better, so you can learn a little more about the developer psychology also through these mind maps. And these mind maps will be priceless, especially if you would like to talk speak, if you'd like to speak tech with IT hiring managers, or if you would like to engage with IT candidates. So these mind maps will give you the vocabulary you need to engage with IT professionals with confidence. And now you can download the PDF file on our website. Just go to itrecruitermindmaps.com and download the PDF file. You can also join our members area, where you can see for at least 40 videos, and you can watch a video related to the mind map you are just looking at. So you can see all these videos and you can watch them right now. I have pre-recorded these videos because I know how hard it is for someone who is just transitioning from non-tech field to understand this IT vocabulary, this IT mess, so to speak. So I try to explain it in human language as easy as possible. You can watch these videos inside the members area. So just go to the website itrecruitermindmaps.com and get yours. Get the PDF now and join the members area. See you there.